the idea of magic was very English. When the English was ruling India, they came across Egypt via the French. The French were ruling Egypt, and there were a lot of records on Egyptian cultures. And then they discovered in between Egypt and India is Iran. And the word magic comes from Magi. Magi is a specific Zoroastrian culture where they are worshipping. And with no understanding of this culture, the academics of that time thought that this is magic. And then they came to India and they said, okay, only Christians have miracle, and you are incapable of miracle, you can have magic. Yeah? So this is how the idea of magic came. And then Helena Blavatskiy, and with her books, she wrote a lot of books. And at that time, she was very influenced by Immanuel Kant. And so she decided that, you know, Immanuel Kant divided the world into noumena, the mind, phenomena, the external experience. And because of this division, she created a whole new world of philosophy. And the philosophy was very magical in experience because there's only noumena. Phenomena is separate from you. So if phenomena is separate from you and noumena is all that is, every emotion, every transformation of your emotion entails you to enlightenment. So she became enlightened overnight. And for the traditionalists, we are talking about infinite and finite. Any finite experience is nothing to do with enlightenment. For us, it is definite that enlightenment is a process of relinquishing karma and being with the infinite consciousness. So that takes a few lifetimes. Don't have to worry about that right now. But then, the whole thing is that these ideas of magic was slept on to Asia by the English of that time. And now it is like every book, every textbook carries that in India they're doing magic. And even Indians themselves are believing that they are doing magic because their 300 years have been ruled by the English. Last night I saw a small documentary about how Indian TV was saying that there are people practicing magic and this is not healthy for you, blah, 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 blah. There is no magic. It is a fiction of the English of the time. There's no magic. And again, coming to the sexuality aspect of it, it was the concept of Jung with feminism. When Jung was trying to talk about freedom and his idea of freedom and psychology, the American feminists borrowed these concepts in the late 60s and 70s. And the second wave feminists, what they call the second wave feminists, where the social culture was the focus, where they felt that women were suppressed and they wanted the freedom of women. So they incorporated Jung's ideas and they created a body awareness culture, where a culture where you feel well with your body. So women of that time, they used to take off their clothes and dance in the sweat lodges. And this was freedom for them that time. And so as they were progressing, the Jungian culture became very pronounced in the USA. And that is what we are looking at then today, where women, after they were talking about the limited body, then they were talking about the man's idea of sexuality, monogamy, blah, blah, blah. And then to free themselves from this monogamy, this blah, 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 they thought, okay, let's make our own culture. And in the process, they used Jung to reorientate their sexuality. In the process, they were like making experimental sexualities, and they called that Tantra. Because Tantra has three studies in the Western world. The academical world is studying Tantra differently as a political concept. Then there is the scientists like David Bohm, Dr. Fritjof Capra, they're studying the science aspect. And then there is this secular aspect where people are experimenting with themselves. The urban concept, the urban lives, they are trying to make meaning. And they are like, okay, let's experiment with sexuality today. Let's look how much freedom we have, blah, blah, blah. And this is how sexual facilitation, workshops, and retreats came into the world.